We're here watching one of Jake's games. Let's see what's under the Druid. This is a good couple of things to have under your Druid. Makes you want the Druid. Orchard, yeah, that also makes you want the Druid. Raise kind of obsoletes Druid with Flames Gift a little bit, but I think Swamp's Gift is still quite good, especially with the Orchard. Um, Now we do have Lamp, and you're gonna want to get that off. There is Salt the Earth if you dally too terribly long, but wouldn't be so concerned about that. There's also Transmogrify as a way to deal with certain dry bits, or the estates rather. I think I would be inclined to go Transmogrify Druid, but I could see Raise. I am not a fan of the Ducat. Um, wow, this is really bad draw for heeyuck. You should just take a... Given that he doesn't have any trasher at all, I guess he could trash the estate rather than taking a wisp, and that's kind of reasonable. Obviously, he just doesn't have a buy available here. Oh, and the Ducat missed. That's really quite unfortunate luck. So because you want to get your stuff popping, Dungeon is really good at helping you do that pretty quickly. The Ducat's okay. A Raise would be okay. Again, I kind of like the Transmogrify, a Silver. You're going to get like a little bit of all of these cards. You could get a Diplomat. Seems quite a reasonable thing to do. Um, yeah, I think one Raise is the right amount of Raise. Raise this estate, take the Druid, play the Druid, take a Wisp. Buy a Ducat, perhaps. Trashing a Copper. I don't think he's really there yet. He could be, actually. He could be to lamp activation already. This is really important here to take a Wisp, though. And it's possible he could get lamp activation as early as this next shuffle. We'll see if that happens. But it's, I think, quite important here to take a Wisp. And I lean towards liking Ducat as the buy. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this play because, like, I don't like getting the second Raise so much. I would have either, I think, I would have taken a Wisp, and then I would have either bought a Ducat or possibly a Cave. Cave and Diplomat can work kind of well. Not too terribly terminal limited. Salt the Earth is going to be important against the Swamp Hag threat. Transmogrify is also reasonable in such situations. Yeah, so he's going to trash the estate here? No. Then why did he keep the estate in hand? This is just bad. Yeah, he didn't get a trash of copper, which he would have liked to do. Huh. Could be a big deal here. I would discard copper and Raise. But I guess there is some merit to this because you can Raise. He should be getting lamp activation here. This is 1, 2, 3 uniques. Ducat is 4, Druid is 5, Lamp is 6. So I think I don't play the Raise here, and I just play Druid, and then Ducat, and then Lamp, and have it active. Don't buy anything. The Druid could trash. I'd probably take another Wisp, though. Yeah. So Orchard is going to be a lot of points here, and then you probably are salting. Um, Jake probably wants to get some Swamp Hag business going on, but also Transmogrify would not be unwelcome. This is not Lamp activation because there's cards are not unique in play. The Wisp and the Hag. Okay. Yeah, heeyuck missing out on Dungeon is really, really good at activating Lamp, and I think it's going to be a bit painful of a thing to miss. And I wouldn't buy anything here. Getting a 2 cost isn't worth it. Neither of these 2 costs are worth it, especially the combination of taking a curse and having to spend coffers. Yeah, that not worth. This turn he will be able to buy something. I don't really know whether he can afford to so much. I think he can lead on Wisp. His last 2 cards should be another raise, and oh, yeah, huh. I think I'd discard Copper and Druid, but discarding raise is it's not the worst idea. This Druid starts to not look so good to me. I would want a Swamp Hag, I think, but I need some plus action somehow. Not sure about the gold either. Do like getting the Swamp Hag. I think I'd leave this Wish because I want it to be a Swamp Hag, but given that I'm not going to play both right now, it's better in my deck as a Wish because it can be drawn by a Wisp, and maybe there is some chance that I do something else. Yeah, it looks like Jake's coming to a similar conclusion. I probably actually buy Swamp Hag to get my second here, but it will be my third before the game's over. And that's just because it's points. Getting diplomats will also be good. It's a little bit tricky. I think procession could be good at certain moments. The druid's kind of outlived its usefulness. heeyuck is really moving towards trying to get going with orchard. You got to take wisp, right? I mean, I know he's already played a number of wisps, but huh? He's gonna raise the raise. No, he's just taking a copper out. Okay. Well, he has it on wisps. The ducat obviously is fine, but he's not activating anytime soon. Guess maybe he's making the argument that soon activation isn't important as, just getting an activation at some point, which may well be right. But yeah, raising a raise there makes a reasonable amount of sense. Looks like Jake wants to raise copper here. Either that or he's discarded too quickly, or just possibly both of those things are true. Raises raise. Wishes for Hag? Yup. Okay, so now he has 7 money and some coffers. He could start salting, which is a little bit weird because he's behind in points. If he's not going to do that, he takes a province. I don't know about that. I don't know. I think I would really be trying to get more orchard stuff. So he has orchard points from Swamp Hag. I guess he's pretty close, but not quite there on getting them for wisps. He has 2 wisps, and he's going to need a third. But he doesn't have that lined up right now. Discarding curse is worse than discarding province because you might want to trash the curse, and that's something you might be able to do at some point. You're just going to have 8 3 coffers and 2 buys. Really be trying to jam some diplomats. Possibly a transmogrify, but diplomat seems like a very important card on this board. He can activate it with his raise, with opposing swamp hack attacks, or with dungeon that gets played that turn. Um, he takes transmogrifies, which are fine, but I think seem worse than diplomat. They do go well together, though, I will say that for them. This should be lamp activation for heeyuck, I think. He's going to have diplomat, dungeon, swamp, hag, druid, curse, ducat. Yeah, that's easy lamp activation here. Play druid. More wisps, just good, yeah. Okay, so now he's gotten his lamp active. Temporarily gets orchard points from that, but you're going to use those wishes. I think heeyuck is somewhat significantly ahead. Um, oh, and he goes ahead and buys up a diplomat, which does score him more points, but obviously makes him take a curse. 5 money here for Jake. And he gets another transmogrify. He's got a lot of curses in his deck now. And I'm just not really seeing what the transmogrifies are doing for him. You can turn dungeon into diplomat, and I would do that here actually, I think. I still want diplomats, and he can activate it with the transmogrify now, and in particular the one in his hand. So that's what I'd be looking for if I were him. Of course, I'm not. But he seems like pretty significantly behind. He probably gonna want to take another swamp hag here with this wish. I don't think you just keep the wishes around. The swamp hag also will give you points from orchard, which I think he's also going to need a raise at some point. He has 2 of those. Could take one now. He could salt. He could go in for some new action as well. Kind of be inclined to salt, just because I don't like having curses in my deck. Island seems like a bit of a strange choice to me. Okay, but he does have 3 swamp hags now. Dungeon into diplomat. Yup. Druid for wisp. Okay, so that should be Jake's wisps getting completed. He's got a curse problem though, and a being behind problem. He has transmogrifies, swamp hags, and wisps as sets, and heeyuck has wisps, swamp hags, and diplomats. How does he have so many points? It should just be wisps. Oh, maybe he has 3 druids also. That'll be 4. That's still only 4 times 4, 16. So, the island and a curse. Okay. This is a bit awkward. I don't think there's a lot of choice here. You can, like, take more islands. Taking another dungeon makes a lot of sense. Yeah, now you can discard a druid and a hag, say. Wish for a diplomat, raise a copper, and draw on. This does not make sense, though. Wishing for a gold. I don't like. I don't like. and he raised the raise. Um, so he's not going to try to collect raises, I guess. Kind of would like get 2 raises there. He's going to get 2 islands, which scores a lot of points, obviously. But, or an island and a transmogrify, okay. So he's just going for all the orchard points, which isn't the worst strategy ever, I suppose. Jake's kind of locked out. He could get, yeah, he gets nothing, which is pretty reasonable, although pretty sad. But his deck just doesn't really function that well, whereas heeyuck's kind of functions. Although his diplomats are getting to the point where they're kind of sad. So his 3 islands are worth 10 points. And they cost 12. That's pretty good rate. Yeah, just trashing there makes sense, and probably taking another dungeon here. Yup. So that gets him up to dungeon, and he's just navigated this kind of orchard play a lot better, despite being so much slower. Getting all those diplomats up was just a big deal, and there really isn't much Jake can do now. heeyuck has just kind of played around him in a way that's going to win this game. Jake has 2 provinces, but a ton of curses. And, okay, Jake needs to start moving for diplomats. And I don't understand what you can profitably transmogrify here. A swamp hag into a diplomat? Into a gold. Part of the problem is that costs you money. He should buy a diplomat here, I think, or it costs you points rather. He's going to have to get another swamp hag again later. He needs diplomats pretty badly. Right, he needs to get at least a couple more diplomats. He's swamp hag back, and then he's still very behind in points, largely because of these curses that he has, but also he has fewer completed sets for orchard. heeyuck is going to complete his island set pretty soon, I think. Yeah, and it's just not gonna work out too well for Jake, I don't think. Wisp, Wisp, T-Mog. Island to raise? No, raise a copper and play a swamp hag, I guess. Yeah, this allows Jake to do this. He should discard curse and copper, I believe. You're going to want to use the druid to trash this curse, but you can only do that once here. Is his last card in deck also a curse, though? If that's the case, then I don't understand keeping 2 curses particularly. I guess maybe he's saying I'd rather have the bad cards in hand now because I'm not going to buy anything this turn because I'm not going to have much money and I'm going to be swamp hag attacked. If that's what he's saying, then that's a reasonable set of things to be saying. That was only his 2nd raise, so I'm not sure I would have taken it. I think there was a curse on the bottom of his deck. Oh, he is going to have plenty of money, though. So, druid to trash a curse should be the play here. And then you spend up to 4, and you have to decide between, oh, what? Oh, I guess that was his 3rd wisp. He only just got his 3rd wisp now. Interesting, okay. Now you have to choose between completing your diplomat set and just having all of these curses forever, which is really going to be brutally killing, or salting for a point, which doesn't look great, but is a thing you can do, I guess. He goes for the diplomat side, so he is closing in on points, kind of, sort of. Yeah, this is not the greatest use of transmogrify, but there wasn't a huge option. If he played Dungeon earlier, could he have diplomated and still got actions? I'm not sure about that. It doesn't matter what he discards here as long as he keeps all of his treasures and a Swamp Hag. I think Swamp Hag is the thing you want to keep. But yeah, just discard 2 of Diplomat and Swamp Hag, keeping at least 1 of each. No, he's not going to play the Swamp Hag because he doesn't want to turn on Jake's Diplomats, I guess. Or he wants the plus buy. Possibly both of those things. Island and Transmogrify, I would guess. Yes. So this completes his island set, and it gets him up to 2 Transmogrifies. He also has 2 raises right now. Jake obviously just has to lead on Wisp and doesn't really have much choice. Hold on. He does have 2 Transmogrifies down. I don't think that does much for him, though. He could turn his Swamp Hag into, like, a raise if he's desperate to have the plus actions, or into a dungeon is probably more reasonable. Actually, raise might be more reasonable. I don't know. He could start chopping down provinces, but I don't think that's going to work out very well for him because he's behind by 10. There are a lot of options afforded. He could turn his Diplomat into a 3rd Sea Hag again. That seems awful, though, because Diplomat's also points, so that's like a non-starter. I think I would just hold. I think I would hold these Transmogrifies and just play the Wisp. I just don't see. There is no card in your hand right now that you particularly want to get rid of other than the copper, and you can't turn the copper into anything that's much more useful. You could go to Curse and then back to drain the last Curse, which is cute in certain situations, but not here. He could turn something into. He could turn his Swamp Hag also into a Ducat, which would let him trash the copper as well and activate his Diplomat that way. He goes for Procession. What? Huh. Okay, that's an interesting way to do it. Now he's down on Diplomats, though, and Swamp Hags. He has 2 of each. So Diplomat, Swamp Hag, Diplomat, Procession. Like, I don't see how this is really making him progress. Is the problem? He just buys a province. Yeah. I've seen worse plays. It's not all that convincing, though. He still has 1 transmog down, I think. Yeah. So I think I would probably go ahead and use that to turn this curse into a copper. You can stick the next transmogrify down, and then he'll be able to draw with Diplomat. You have to be very slightly concerned about piles ending, as both players here. This hand isn't going to do much. I think I would discard the Druid. Okay. Yeah, no, my suggestion was not fully formed and probably not very good. Not sure about this one. I'd kind of want to be setting stuff aside with the island that's not very useful anymore, but maybe you just don't have time. So I would have thought that it would have been worth it to if you're gonna do this order, that's kind of backwards, right? What? Anyway. I think he's still on 2 Swamp Hags, right? There's 2 in the trash? Yes. Okay. This game is somehow getting close again. Discard Copper and Wisp? No, you just discard as a Swamp Hag, which I guess is okay. He's gonna find one anyway, looks like. Ooh, the Wisp drew him a card at the least opportune moment. He just has to play this Wisp again. Play this Wisp again. Now we're out of the range where you're going to be saved by a thing. And by thing, I mean race. Here I'd probably go ahead and buy Transmogrify if I were heeyuck. He does. It scores him a few points. Okay. Jake has... So the Swamp Hag attack, we'll note, doesn't do anything more anymore except activate your opponent's diplomats. Duck it goes into dungeon. I think that's a very good play, as it's not that good of a card anymore. You obviously just discard it, province and probably curse. Okay, this is fine. You trash the curse here and buy a province. Okay. So now we've ended up in somehow a very close game. How many transmogs does Jake have down? Just the one. Okay, so he's going to have some decisions at the start of his next turn, but let's just see what heeyuck can do here. There doesn't seem to be much. I kind of think he can only buy... No, he can buy raises points for him. Pretty sure raise was points for him. So would have gone for that over double cave, which spent coffers. Jake has decided to go dungeon first. I think you discard curse and province. You transmogrify your procession into probably a swamp hag to score points. You play transmogrify and then you play diplomat and you see where you are. But I think I'd T-Mog this procession. And Swamp Hag scores points, so I think that's what I'd be going for. Goes for dungeon. Oh, dungeon did not score points, okay. Discard province and transmogrify. Play transmog. Yeah, this is a good turn for Jake. Can play this druid here. Probably gaining a wisp. This was a little bit dicey, but it works out okay. Now if I'm him, Oh, there is Moon's Gift as a thing, of course. Wait, how many T-Monks does he? Just has the one. Okay, so options here. Swamp Hag in Dungeon scores the most points and is better for his deck than Province, so I'm pretty sure that's what I'd go for. Pretty sure both Swamp Hag and Dungeon score him 4 points, and it will give him an 8-point lead. That seems like a really good play to me. That seems like a really good play to me if I were Jake, and I would take it here. Would take that play. Obviously, also piles are then low. The Diplomat pile would be very low. The Swamp Hag pile would be very low. The Dungeon pile would be very low. The Curse pile is gone. Having a lead is really good in these situations. And that's a bigger lead, and the piles aren't so low that I think that heeyuck can really make a huge deal out of them. Also, he's not scoring points by getting more things out of those piles, so... Okay, Jake has now probably forgotten that Swamp Hags are worth points for him. I think. I think that's what Island Dungeon tells me. He knew that the dungeon was points, but I would guess that he's forgotten that Swamp Hag was. But it's very possible that he's just looking to end the game on islands and dungeons or something like that, and the islands being worth more points in that scenario is going to help him out in that case. Also, Swamp Hag is not a very good card because it enables your opponent's diplomats, and diplomats are the biggest thing to do. So I expect a discard of a druid here. I don't really understand quite all of this. Playing island is also a way that you can enable further diplomats, but you obviously need the extra action to start with. It's a little bit hard to get lined up. Dungeon's a really good card for these decks. Okay, you're going to play the third dungeon here even. I don't know how great that is. So I wouldn't be too stunned here to see... Okay, no, he does. This is going to be a Swamp Hag discard and a Druid discard. No, he's keeping the Swamp Hag. Okay. Maybe he's also tracked better than I would have where Jake's diplomats were. If he knows that he's not enabling diplomat, then Swamp Hag is a great card to play. Expect this to be a secret cave. Because it... What? What? This is crazy to me. I don't understand that play at all. I really don't. I mean, he's trying to deny Jake the island points, but he's helping Jake pile out. I don't... Oh, I don't understand. Jake might want to transmogrify Swamp Hag into Island, give up on the Swamp Hag dream, and take these islands. I think that's actually a good play here. Swamp Hag into Island. Oh, he's going province into province? Oh, I don't like that. Dungeon. He probably still thinks he has 3 Swamp Hags. Yeah, that would explain a lot of that. Discard provinces, of course. Discards a curse and a Swamp Hag. But why would you not discard provinces? At least one of them. You only have 1 island to set aside with the other. I guess it doesn't matter a ton. 2 money here. He could buy an island. If he would have turned his Swamp Hag into an island, he'd be in really, really great shape now. As it is, he's... I don't know. Don't know what you do in this spot. He doesn't have any... Took a druid, which doesn't score him points, but his next druid will. Okay. Where's heeyuck? Heeyuck... Yeah, just wants to lower the islands, I guess. Does he think he has a pile out here? Does he actually have a pile out here? Well, he needs to score more points for one thing. This is really dangerous. He has secret caves as a way to score some amount more points, but can he do that and get the dungeon off? I'm not so convinced. This cave can set up diplomat, so I expect a discard to be taken here. Wisp. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's raising a wisp. He's raising a raise, but that doesn't cost him. I don't really quite understand the point of that. Guess he never got up to the raises. This is all so confusing. Druids, he can at most get 3 buys. He can definitely not... No, he can get 4 buys, but he definitely can't win the game. He doesn't have enough money to get the rest of the dungeons and score enough points. So... I'm not quite sure what this is all doing. Druid, if he plays another one, would allow him to take a cave and 2 raises and something else. Cave and 2 raises by itself is probably enough. I think you you play the Swamp Hag, you buy Cave Double Raise, and that gives you a 5-point lead. Buys a duchy. This is only a 4-point lead. The piles are higher, which has pros and cons. I assume this is an island discard as well as, I don't know what else. This is probably the Transmogrifies. A Transmogrify and a Druid is probably better. Jake probably needs to buy Province this turn. He discarded a Diplomat. That seems strange. It's gonna work out actually pretty well though. You take a Wisp. Yeah, you just want to play it and you don't actually want to take Flames or the other thing. You buy Province Druid here. That scores the most points. That would put him at a 6-point lead. It's all very dangerous now, though. But you can't get around that. No matter what he does, it's dangerous. He can't win here, obviously. He can't even pile out. So you just need to score max, and that's the way you score max, and he's done that. And how many Transmogrifies does he have down? Just the one. So he can turn Island into something, but this kind of looks bad for him. Unless heeyuck kind of makes a mistake here. I expect him to discard with this cave. Not exactly sure what's getting discarded. Oh, he doesn't have the points to... I was going to say he's winning here, but he doesn't have the points. Like, he can double salt and end the game. But that would be behind. Okay. So, given that, he's going to buy a province and hope that Jake can't hit 4. That's... would actually work out for him, surprisingly enough, because... Oh wait, no, because he has the transmog. Jake has the transmogrify. He could T-mog province into province. So that actually wouldn't work out for him. Double raises points for heeyuck, and apart from that, he's kind of out of options. He just needs to be getting green cards. So he can't actually take the lead here. The only way to tie is by buying province, which loses to any number of things, either having 4 money from Jake or a province in hand from Jake. So somehow he's navigated the ending here very poorly. He could go after processions, I guess. But that would take a while because he doesn't have any right now. If he plays for double raise, yeah. Now, can Jake win here? He can turn Island into... Hold on, that didn't score 5 points for heeyuck, it only scored 1. He didn't have any raises left. He's turning Island into Diplomat. Okay, well, he wants a turn. Alright, it's a bit risky, but it's working out. He's probably gonna play this Swamp Hag. He doesn't have enough money to empty the diplomats, at which point he's in really dire straits. He can take it for the reordering the top of your deck gift, which he should do. And then probably spend up the coffers and buy duchy because you desperately need points. He's a money and a buy short of emptying raises, and he's 3 money short of emptying diplomats. He should have taken the reorder the top of his deck boon rather than swamps because there's no more wisps to take. Dungeon doesn't score for him. Actually, Swamp Hag scores for him remarkably, so he should actually take that. But I don't think he remembers that, so I don't think he will. You could also Salt Province, which is just better than buying Diplomat, but incredibly risky. It loses to any province hand. It also loses to salts and score any kind of. Okay, well, this is a line you can take as well. So if Jake gets another turn, he probably wins, right? If he's not super behind, he can say transmogrify province into province, and yeah, but it looks like heeyuck's probably just going for the win here, which I think is very reasonable. Maybe he just has it. I don't think he quite just has it, though. He needs a raise and something. He needs some kind of plus buy here. And now I think he has it, though. He can get a raise and an estate or something. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think Jake needed to score more points. It's possible that it wouldn't have worked anyway. The Swamp Hag does just stone nothing for you because you're not getting another turn, so you might as well discard it. You should be playing this Diplomat sooner. He should possibly also have played the Druid for the other gift, but no matter. Actually, you can just buy Province here. Really weird back and forth game. There were a lot of decisions that could have gone the other way and questionable, and it's really hard to know all this stuff. But, okay, reacting with a Diplomat does absolutely nothing. Obviously, you're not getting another turn. The piles are already gone. The simplest win here is by province. There's also obviously by raise and any other form of points. Yeah, so let's see and make sure that I've kept track correctly. Jake had 2 Swamp Hags, yes. heeyuck had 2 raises, yes. Yeah, the curses. Very back and forth game. Really confusing. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you were able to follow. And oh my gosh, this game took over 40 minutes. Anyway, really, really interesting stuff. So I hope you agree. Please leave any comments that you have, questions, suggestions, etc. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.